This is incredible, right? We achieved GAAP net income profitability for the first time in company history, right? And then we'll speak about, do they expect that going forward, right? Q4 2022 GAAP earnings per share of 1 cent, up 7 cents from quarter over quarter and a 9 cent year over year, right? But the big significant portion of this is 3 quarters in a row of improvements. 3 quarters. This was around when the stock troughed. This was around when the stock was troughing in like the $6 range, right around here, okay? $6 it got all the way down to. And then what we've seen is consistent progress on GAAP earnings. So do we get another continuation of that in Q1? We'll have to see, okay? Now, look at this, okay? This is so big for everybody that owns a stock or is thinking about this stock, okay? You got the commercial business booming, 67% growth, right? Absolutely incredible. And you think about where this business can be. I mean, think about how few companies are still even using Palantir, right? Imagine how many of these big companies are going to be using Palantir in the future. And so this commercial business, I think this business could continue to grow at, a 40% plus clip for years to go in the future, even in a weaker economic environment. Whether we're in a bad economy, good economy, or a great economy, I think we can continue to pound out 40% plus growth on a commercial business year over year over year for several years to go in the future, okay? And so this is significant. Now, the holdback obviously is government revenue. And these government contracts, they're going to come through. It's taking longer than expected. It's disappointing. We all want to see government business being stronger than it is, right? But at the end of the day, government moves slow. We know that. But when those contracts come through, they're game changers. They can move Palantir's business, tens of millions of dollars, if not $100 million plus in terms of their revenue, okay? So when these babies come in, it really pours in, okay? Now, this is one of the most significant, important numbers for a company like Palantir is net dollar retention. And just the way to think about this, a simple way to think about this, okay, is, you want to see over 100% net dollar retention. No doubt about it, okay? The further you go over 100%, the better. So if you can reach 110%, okay, now you're really talking 115%, that's really good. If you can go over 120%, that's great, okay? If you can go over 120% for net dollar retention, that's great. So Palantir, I wouldn't quite put them in the great category. I'd put them, this is a good number, this is a healthy number, this is an important number for the business moving forward, and that's a very important metric that we keep an eye on in future years when it comes to Palantir, okay? Now, this is super important. Our total customer count grew 55% year over year, okay? Now, why is this so significant? Well, one of the big things that people talked about with Palantir on why they couldn't consider this company is they said, well, great, they have these huge customers and government contracts that spend a ton of money with them, but they don't really have a lot of actual customers. They have a very small amount. And so that's been one of the turnoffs for a lot of people even in viewing the stock, right? Or getting involved with it or even considering it as how few customers they have. And so the more customers Palantir has, the more it's actually going to attract potential shareholders to this company, right? Which is obviously going to help the stock price over time. Also, if you're thinking about it in context of the business, well, shoot, if you keep growing customer count 40, 50% type numbers, that's going to be pretty darn significant over time. And Palantir's got to view this of like, we're going to grow with these companies. So yeah, maybe a company is only going to spend $1 million a year with us, right? Which for Palantir is not a lot of money. But that company might spend $3 million a year with you in the future as they grow, or $5 million, or $7 million, or $10 million, or gosh, dare I say $50 million long term, right?